Welcome to the top 10 worst movies of 2023. I already did my best list, and you know what they say, for every best list, there's always got to be that worst list. I saw quite a few bad movies this year, but I only had to narrow my list down to 10 because that's how the professionals do it. And yeah, when I said I saw a lot of bad films, I mean I saw a lot of bad films. I have 21 dishonorable mentions this year. Yeah, that's 21 movies that could have easily made it on my worst list. But trust me, the 10 that I have on my top 10 worst are really fucking bad. So yeah, it's time to get this list over with cuz I got a lot of bad movies to talk about and yeah. Let's just get down to it, shall we? Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Five Nights at Freddy's, Leave the World Behind, Peter Pan and Wendy, Ghosted, Murder Mystery 2, House Party, Magic Mike's Last Dance, Shotgun Wedding, Fear, 65, Beau is Afraid, White Men Can't Jump, The Little Mermaid, The Machine, Asteroid City, Meg 2, The Trench, Candy Cane Lane, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, You Are So Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah, Skinamarink. Alright, those are my dishonorable mentions. Now let's get into the main event, shall we? Number 10. Kicking off my list is Aquaman and the Last Kingdom. Holy shit. We all knew that the DCEU was dying, but man, I thought that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom just had the DCEU go out not with a bang, but with a whimper. This movie had a story that was all over the place. It had an identity crisis. It did not know what the fuck it wanted to be. Didn't know if it wanted to have like this revenge quest with Black Manta. It didn't know whether it wanted to be a buddy comedy, and it didn't know if it wanted to be this big epic action film. It was all over the place. There was no cohesion whatsoever in this plot. Everybody was bad in this film. The action scenes were serviceable enough, I guess. But man, everything else was going against it, from its shit story to its incoherent script to the terrible effects. Everything just did not work about this movie. James Gunn, I hope you save DC, cuz man, the DCEU just ended so badly. Rest in peace. Number 9. Wish was a movie that I just thought was depressing. You know, Disney built themselves up as, one of the greatest animation distributors of all time. They were going on this absolute winning streak for the past decade, and then all of a sudden, Strange World came out last year and it wasn't great, but man, Wish was just fucking bad. It had an animation style that didn't work for me. The story was boring. It didn't care about being anything exciting for its big 100-year anniversary. Instead, it just shoehorned in a bunch of fucking stupid references that didn't make any sense. They didn't further the plot. All those musical numbers were so fucking forgettable. The characters sucked. Everything about it just did not work for me. And also, the movie was not funny. There were so many painful attempts at humor. Nothing stuck the landing in this movie. It was an absolutely terrible excuse for a 100-year celebration. It was an absolutely wasted opportunity. It was just an absolute misfire. Wish was a massive disappointment, and I really hope Disney gets better in the future, because man, this movie was an absolute embarrassment. Number 8. My number 8 is Insidious The Red Door. Holy shit. When they announced that Patrick Wilson was going to be directing an Insidious movie, I was kind of excited. And when I heard it was going to be tying into the first two movies, I was also really excited. We get to reunite with a bunch of characters from the first two movies. Man, this movie was a letdown. I mean, a complete letdown. This movie this movie was more focused on shoveling in a bunch of information you already knew from the first two movies, while also being an absolute fucking snooze fest. This movie was boring. It also tried to be a comedy at times, like a really zany comedy, and holy fuck did it fail at that. The mishmash of like horror and comedy in this movie just fucking failed. And also, yeah, this movie was fucking boring as well. It's a movie that I forgot even existed, and I wish I had not remembered this movie, just so I don't have to talk about it again. This movie sucked ass. It really did. I hope this franchise dies after this, cause god damn, I don't want to deal with any more painful fucking dreck like this again. Number 7. When I heard that Larry Charles was directing another movie, I was really excited. I like all of his movies. And then this came out, Dix the Musical. God fucking damn it, what a cringe fest. Not only were the musical numbers fucking irritating, not only were the main characters absolutely insulting to my ears and intelligence, but fuck, it was not funny. This movie rips off The Parent Trap and just absolutely disrespects that kind of a story. The humor was beyond cringe. And fuck, don't get me started on that stupid ass ending. This movie tried to be shocking for the sake of being shocking. It tried to be raunchy for the sake of being raunchy, but it didn't remember how to be funny. No, I'm serious. This movie was an absolute chore to sit through. It was 86 minutes, and it felt like 3.5 hours. This movie, it's a disgrace to comedy, and it's also a disgrace to musicals. I don't know how A24 greenlit this shit, but god damn. Uh, this movie just put me in. This movie made me speechless when it was over, and not in a good way. Fuck's sakes. Larry Charles, do better next time, please. Number 6. Okay, hear me out. I am not a Zack Snyder hater. I like some of his movies, and no, I'm not being paid by James Gunn to shit on this movie like a lot of these Zack Snyder fans are claiming about people giving this a negative review. But sorry, Rebel Moon sucked ass. This movie shamelessly rips off movies like Star Wars and Seven Samurai and Heavy Metal and along others. And not only does it do that, but it delivers another addition to this list with an incoherent story, and also nothing felt natural. The characters were stupid dog shit. None of the characters were interesting. None of them were developed. They are fucking stock fucking dribble shit. Yes, this movie may offer some decent action and some good visuals, but you need to have some substance to go with that. I wouldn't care if this movie was trying to go for dumb and corny, but no, this movie's taking itself so fucking seriously it's not even funny. That's the thing that makes this movie terrible. If you're gonna be a bad movie, at least be over the top and stupid and funny, but nope, this movie doesn't do that. It tries to be Star Wars, but more mature. No. Stop it. I'm not looking forward to part 2 that's coming out next year. Fuck this shit. This movie sucked. Zack Snyder, please make something better. Ditch this Rebel Moon shit. It's not working. Number 5. My number 5 is The Marvels. This movie is the main reason why I was saying that the MCU had an absolute shitty year. Like, yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was bad, but holy fuck. This was garbage. I thought Thor Love and Thunder couldn't be topped for the worst MCU film until I saw this. This movie had no plot, it had boring action, the humor was cringe. I mean cringe. And not only was the humor cringe, there was so many cringy moments. The one that stood out the most was that part with the singing people on that planet. Fuck, I've never wanted to fucking have a noose on hand and so badly in my life because that scene was so fucking. That scene was embarrassed. I felt embarrassed sitting in the theater. And yeah, the characters didn't help. Captain Marvel was fucking boring as ever. I don't even remember what the other character's name is because I didn't care. She was so boring. Miss Marvel was the only bright spot in this entire movie. And man, God bless that actress's soul because she was giving absolute garbage to work with. Fuck. Not and yeah, this movie, like I said, this movie had no plot at all. This movie had some of the worst editing I have ever seen in an MCU film. This movie was a joke. This movie was not what Marvel needed. Please, Deadpool 3 be good. Please be good. You're the only MCU movie coming out next year. Number 4. Family Switch. God damn. This this is the epitome of cringe. It was never funny. I never laughed once. Every actor in this movie should be ashamed. This is like the worst version of like an early 2000s family comedy out there. Man, even though movies like Playing with Fire came out like a few years ago, Playing with Fire is a special kind of bad. That movie was so bad it's good. This movie is not in that league. No way. I never enjoyed sitting through this movie. This movie has awkward ass humor that didn't stick the landing. This movie looked cheap as hell. Well, I mean, it came out on streaming, so what the fuck do you expect? And God, fuck. Mick G directed this movie. That's another thing I forgot about. Mick G directed this. What was I thinking when I got into this movie? This movie sucked. This is one of the worst comedies I have ever seen. I'm serious. It was just the epitome of unfunny and cringe. Even if you're just looking through Netflix, skip this movie. It is not worth your time. This movie made me question why I have Netflix, because, man, a lot of their originals are shit, and man, this is one of the worst I have ever seen so far. But just wait. There's another Netflix movie on my list. It just may be next, and I think if you've been watching my reviews throughout the year, I think you may know what it is. Number 3. Kicking off my top 3 is You People. Oh boy, what can I say about this one? Not only was this the cringiest fucking movie I have seen all year, this movie is the worst romantic comedy I have ever sat through. I am serious. This movie has the worst screenplay of the year. This movie is not romantic. It was never funny. And this movie wastes good talent. Jonah Hill, what the fuck were you thinking? You wrote this shit. And you were terrible in this movie too. Like, you went from an Academy Award winning actor. You starred in some great comedies in the past. And then you do this shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? And not only that, the leads, Jonah Hill and that chick, holy shit, you know their chemistry was bad when they had a kiss that was done with CGI. I am not kidding. They CGI a kiss in this movie. What a fucking joke. And you have the balls to waste Eddie Murphy in this shit. Which, by the way, Eddie Murphy gives the worst performance of his career in this movie. He managed to be worse in this than he was in Beverly Hills Cop 3. How the fuck did that happen? Fuck this movie. Avoid it like the plague. It is utter dog shit. Number 2. You may have been wondering where the Exorcist Believer was on this list, but here it is. This is one of the worst horror films I have seen in a long fucking time. This is also the worst of the legacy sequels that have been trending in the past 5 fucking years. This movie is... okay, first of all, the first hour is not even an Exorcist movie. It's a dull, boring, fucking missing child movie. It was never exciting. It was never scary. The second half is the most generic demonic possession movie of all time. It is everything you have seen before. And not only that, not only is it generic, but they also copy shit from the original Exorcist. Literally. A lot of shit they just take from that movie and put into this dog shit. And the worst part is, they got Ellen Bernstein to come back, and she had no purpose in this movie except to spew some stupid shit about the patriarchy. Like, there's a part... No, I'm not even kidding. There's a part where she says, oh yeah, those priests... those priests that literally gave their lives to save my daughter. Oh no, they wouldn't let me watch The Exorcism because of the patriarchy. No, it wasn't, you dipshit. It was because you would die. They died trying to save her. What did you think was going to happen to you if you fucking were in there? Did the people who wrote this movie never fucking watch the original Exorcist? That was some of the dumbest shit I have ever seen. This movie disrespects that character more than what Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 did to the character from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is an absolute accomplishment. This was stupid. This movie was absolutely terrible. Don't watch this movie, especially if you love The Exorcist. This is the worst one. Yes, it is worse than Exorcist 2. I will fight you on that. I'm serious. This movie was garbage. And the number 1 biggest piece of shit of the year is Expendables 4. Oh my god. Where do I begin with this piece of shit? The effects were awful. The green screen was a joke. It literally looked like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. The action scenes were choppy as hell. All of the acting, except for Jason Statham and Tony Jaa, was terrible all across the board. And of course, this movie tries to trick you into thinking, oh, Sylvester Stallone is dead. Oh, he's really going to pass the torch to Jason Statham. And then all of a sudden, he's alive again at the end. Because, I mean, Sylvester Stallone, he's the star of the franchise. Did you really think we were going to pass the torch to Jason Statham? I mean, Jason Statham was the star of this movie, but, you know, if you were going to kill off Barney Ross, well, why the fuck didn't you just do it? Why didn't you just have the balls and do it? Why did you have to do a stupid-ass fake out like that? But yeah, that's not even the worst part of the movie. The worst part is that this movie cost $100 million, and this movie looks cheap as fuck. I've seen movies like Terrifier 2. That movie cost like $250,000, and that movie looks way more expensive than what this movie did. I'm serious. Where the fuck did that $100 million go? Did that all just go to Sylvester Stallone just for like maybe 15 minutes of screen time that he has? What the fuck is going on with this movie, man? And like I said, yeah, the action scenes are choppy as hell. There's a lot of quick cuts and shaky cam. This movie made Expendables 3 look like a fucking masterpiece. And this movie is incompetent as hell. And yeah, all of the acting all across the board, except for Jason Statham and Tony Jaa, fucking terrible. Megan Fox was the worst out of all of them. She was the one that really showed that she didn't give a shit about this. Did she just come here for the pay? Yeah, I guess she just came here for the paycheck. I don't know who the fuck thought that people would buy her as the new leader of the Expendables. That was stupid. This movie was god-awful. Absolute garbage. It is one of the worst action movies I have ever seen. And it is absolutely the worst film of the year. Without fucking question. This movie is an embarrassing fucking piece of shit. I hated this movie with a goddamn passion. Fuck this movie, and I'm glad it bombed, because now we're not gonna get any more of this goddamn shit ever again. The Expendables can finally die. It should have only been 2 movies, and that's where it should have stuck. But nope, they gotta waste more money on some cash grabs, and luckily this one backfired. And there you have it. That was my top 10 worst movies of 2023. I had a great time making this list, just talking about some shit ass movies. I put them back to hell where they belong, because goddamn, I saw a lot of bad movies this year, man. A lot of bad movies. I hope 2024 doesn't offer as much garbage as this. So, anyways, yeah, I'm looking forward to the new year, a whole new year of movies. Hopefully, we get a lot of great ones. I had a great time in 2023 making a shit ton of videos. It was awesome. Thank you guys for supporting my channel. It's been awesome. And I hope that you stick around for next year, cuz I got a lot of great stuff planned. Yeah. So anyways, see you all later. Happy New Year.